And we're back here on the Stogie Geek Show. I just very quickly I want to go around the room and around the virtual room and talk about what everyone has been smoking. I'll start. I'm smoking the unnamed reserve from this year or last year, 2013 unnamed reserve.
Yes.
And this is what was
It's supposed to come out last
what
year.
was the largest? There was a Robusto
and a Toro.
A Toro.
Right,
I'm smoking the Toro tonight. I managed to get 2 Toros and 2 Robustos. I got another 2 from Atlantic Cigar, has these packs, and I got one from the local shop, one of each. Thank you to Stogie Santa. And it's just wonderful flavors coming up, wonderful sweetness and yumminess coming off this one. And Stogie Santa.
I'm doing the Angel Share on the Opus.
I was in the right place at the right time, I tell you. I happened to be
you.
standing in a store, and the person who I'm friendly with in that store was there, and I had my son, Braden, with me, who's, like this adorable little toddler. And she's
exactly.
like,
I'll
yeah. So, like, the situation could have been any more perfect, right?
Daddy,
yeah, Daddy's going to buy some cigars. She's like, yeah, buy as many as you want. And they had just gotten their Fuente, like a huge Fuente shipment. And they had these Angels Share Robustos in the larger size. It's like a Reserva de Chateau size one, right?
Like,
so I picked up a bunch of those Robustos.
Nice sweetness, caramel flavor.
I would have bought more had I read some of the reviews before I bought. They're supposed to be fabulous. I haven't smoked one yet.
I'll tell you what, and age is going to even do better.
Yeah,
it's
good to know. Yeah. And Phil Zanke, you're still here. What did you say you were smoking?
Phil?
I was smoking the first degree. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I was smoking the first degree we were talking about earlier, but I put a Maduro, Connecticut Maduro on it, and it's I'm loving it right now. I'm just sitting here, just chilling, just enjoying it.
Nice.
I looked at the first degrees today at the store, and I said I should grab a handful, and I said I'll do that another time because I got the belly with me tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, that's your favorite.
Yeah.
And Will, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about what you've been smoking and introduce our next special guest.
Oh, thank you. I'm actually smoking a cigar made by our guest. It is the Tortuga 215 Reserva, and it is a line that was launched by our guest, Victor Vitale. Victor, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for your patience, too. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And welcome to the Stogie Geeks.
My pleasure to be here. I really appreciate being on the show, and I'm looking forward to talking with you guys.
Yeah, so Victor, and I'm going to probably turn it over to Will pretty early on in the interview process, just to give you a heads up, Will. Victor, how did you get your start in the cigar industry?
I'm new to the business, like Phil. I got about 20 years in the business. I started in 1995 during the cigar boom, and prior to that, my family history is in Italian bread baking. I'm 4th generation Italian bread baker. So one day I had this wild idea that I wanted to quit my family heritage and go to college. So, I was working the oven that day, and I told my grandfather while I was pushing dough into a 450-degree oven, I said, Pop, I don't think this is for me. I'm going to try college. And he said, oh, great. Go ahead. I'll see you in 6 months. So I ended up applying for college, and during my first semester, I got a part-time job as a stock boy at a cigar shop in downtown Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I fell in love with the business. And I worked my way through the channels, and in 2005, I started developing my own brands. The first 3, if you guys were watching Cigar Federation last week, I had mentioned the first 3 brands were absolute failures. And, at that point, I was scratching my head, wondering what to do. And I talked to someone who was an advisor, a counselor for big Wall Street people. And he said, hey, you got to get at this again. You really got to try it again. And he says, show me a guy who never failed, and I'll show you a guy who never tried. So he really gave me the encouragement to start over again and really get it going. And since then, I've developed several brands, all of which I sold. I sold my distribution company in May of 2013. And I wanted to slow things down a bit and really work on my legacy production company, which Coop is smoking one of the offerings there, the Tortuga 215 Reserva. The other brand that I currently produce under the Legacy Brands umbrella is the Ora Vivo brand.
Very cool. And you're smoking the Tortuga, Will?
I'm smoking the Tortuga 215 Reserva, which is the most recent one that Victor launched last year.
Okay.
And I'll let Victor tell a little more about the cigar.
Yeah.
But I happen to really like this cigar.
Yeah, sure. First, I have this question. Paul, are you in a shower?
I am not.
Oh, you like
This
the
is the second person has asked that.
Yeah, everyone.
I got to get a little closer to my camera here to really see what's going on.
So really quick, this was supposed to be a workshop, okay? And I realized, and it wasn't really even supposed to be able to be built, but we realized it could be built. We built it. Very quickly, I realized it could be a smoking lounge for me. And then very quickly after that, I realized I wanted to start a cigar podcast. And then very quickly after that, it was outfitted with Wi-Fi, a TV, and a podcast studio. As this is the second podcast internet TV venture that I've created, and I started doing it for fun, and then it's turned into a business, and it's been going strong. And this year at some point there might be a change, so it might not look like a shower. Do much longer this year. It depends. I'm looking at other properties, including a house, which may or may not happen. But I'll give Stogie Geeks the exclusive, Will, and say that there might be a new studio in the future. That all of my shows will be done in the same studio. So
I see a great tagline for you guys. Apple computers started in a garage.
Yes.
Stogie Geeks started in a shower.
That's right. That's right. And my shower has a circular throw up behind the shower curtain too, just in case we need that kind of thing.
Okay. 10,000 comedians out of it.
That's,
We got all of them right here.
That's the story. So
what would you like to know? Where should I start?
Will, why don't you kind of take over from here? I gotta go get some shampoo.
I'd like to start with Ora Vivo first, and then we'll come back to the Tortuga, because. So I'm just going to give you my context of the Ora Vivo. Last year, Victor and I were talking, and he told me he had something in the works, a big thing in the works. And he kept teasing me about it, and then I'm sitting in this garage one night, and I got the release from him, and it turned out to be a cigar with a pretty famous celebrity, which I admit I was a little skeptical about it. Then when I went to the show, I really came around to see what you were doing with this Ora Vivo project. So, Victor, I'm going to let you kind of tell the story of who that celebrity is and kind of how he came on board, because I think it's a great story.
Sure. Before I even begin there, I want to talk about celebrities in the cigar business and how and when it's an appropriate fit. And, someone had approached me and said, hey, do you want to make a cigar for a celebrity? And that person was Gary Mascioni, who you had met at the show, who is a partner in the Ora Vivo brand. And he said, do you want to make a cigar for Armand Assante? And, my original gut reaction was no. And the reason why that was my reaction, because if you guys know the marketplace and you know that when a celebrity lends their name to a cigar, it typically doesn't work in this business. And being in the business throughout the 90s, we've seen a lot of celebrities and athletes lend their name to cigars. And not one of them has ever made it out of the starting gate. And, there's a reason for that. And, there's something very, very special that is a part of my company. And my company, Legacy Brands, is a tribute to the art, culture, and tradition of tobacco. What I do is I try to give back to the industry. And in my 20-year career, I've done many things to give back to the industry. One was starting an organization in New Hampshire to fight anti-tobacco legislation. The other great thing that I'm very proud of is starting this Legacy Brand cigar company to pay tribute to the industry. So that's really the goal. So, Gary had put me in touch with Armand Assante, and we had a very brief but powerful conversation at the time. And the conversation went pretty much in a very simple direction, and it was, I asked Armand what exactly he wanted to do in the cigar business. And I told him if he wanted to just put his name on a cigar, that I wasn't interested, and I could certainly show him the road to doing that. And I asked him if he just wanted to make a cigar, just to have a cigar. I said, that's not for me either. I could certainly show you the way. What was for me was and I told this to him. I said, if you're interested in creating a legacy to fulfill your personal passion, then I'm interested in partnering with you. And let me tell you something. I've never received more of a genuine answer. And I spent many weekends at Armand's house discussing tobacco and discussing his passion for cigars. And
did you ever just want to turn to him and be like, I am the law? Because I wouldn't be able to resist that.
That's cheesy. That's really cheesy. I'm telling you. Jesus, God. I gotta
this is what I bring to the show.
Oh, okay.
Although my favorite character in that movie was
with the shower
Rob
curtain.
Schneider. But anyway.
Paul's known for his timing,
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's always bad.
Armand's an advocate for cigar smoking. If you've seen his movies, which I'm sure you have, he's always smoking a cigar. And not only is he always smoking a cigar on camera, and typically these roles that are made for him aren't written in with a cigar. He adds the cigar in because that's his personal passion. This is what fuels him in order to be his best. If you read the article in Cigar Aficionado in 2008, he explains it all. So I was really excited and just totally enamored with this whole, with this guy and this concept that he had about premium cigars. This was a burning desire for him to do, to create a cigar with his name and leave a legacy.
So Armand was actually involved with selecting the blend. Did he have the final say on that blend? And
yes.
Did you was there a blend you were trying to steer him to, or did he just kind of say, this is what I want, and you said, okay?
Well, Coop, it's a great question. Here's basically how we arrived at the phone call. Gary has been friends with Armand for several years, and they've been talking about this for years. And Gary sent Armand this bag of cigars that he picked up at a local shop, right off the shelf. He sent a bag of cigars out, and I wish Armand was on because he tells it. It's a great way that he tells the story. He was actually on his balcony at his hotel in Monte Carlo, and he was smoking a Tortuga Edición Limitada 2011, and that's the cigar that he fell in love with. And he called Gary and he said, look, we're going to make this cigar. We're going to do this, and I want to talk to the guy who made this cigar. And that's how the phone call came about. So when we started developing the blends, it was my goal to make sure that Armand was fully involved with the process, because that is the most important thing to me. And it's the most important thing to him. He needed to be fully involved. He was so excited to be fully involved that I took about 40, almost 50 different blends that I had made up at the factory. We spent the weekend at his house and basically smoked our faces off. It was an experience that he's never had before, and he really enjoyed it. So this blend, the Ora Vivo blend, is specifically made for Armand and was specifically chosen by Armand.
Could you tell us a little about the cigar itself?
Yeah, sure. The blend is all Nicaragua. And what I've been doing lately is I've been experiencing more with Nicaraguan tobacco. And through my factory in Honduras, we purchased all of the tobacco used in the blend from Agar and Orsa and the Olivas in Tampa. And I really enjoy the structure, the taste, everything about the tobacco that I get from those two places. And the Ora Vivo is all Nicaraguan. It comes in 4 sizes, and it's a very earthy, well-balanced cigar. Coop, maybe you want to elaborate on it. I mean, I try not to give a biased opinion. Of course, like Phil had mentioned earlier, you love your kids, so, I could sit here and be the cheerleader all day, but, maybe you want to say something about it.
I've smoked that cigar, and it was I liked it a lot. It was very classic. I mean, it was the first thing when I smoked it, I said I could see Armand Assante smoking this cigar. It wasn't a powerful, overpowering cigar. A lot of flavor. It had a Cuban-esque quality to it, but I don't want to say it was a Cuban either. But it had that Cuban-esque quality to it that really, it resonated real well with me. You know, you mentioned the earthiness, definite earthiness to it. You know, it wasn't a spice bomb. It, you know, it just presented itself real nice as far as that cigar went. Now, you're taking that cigar to Europe, right?
Yes, the first batch goes to Europe in the end of February, and those are going to come in white boxes. I'm not sure if you saw the Cigar Insider one-page write-up last month. There are 4 sizes going to Europe in the white box. The black box was made for the United States. The white box is made for Europe. And the color and all the sizes were chosen specifically by Armand.
I know that basically from what you told me is the European sizes are going to be more for the European market. They're smaller ones, and the U.S. ones I'd say are bigger ones. Is there any chance we'd see some of those European ones come to the U.S.?
You know, once I send them to Europe, they're there. You know, you know, they're made specifically for Europe. They're made exclusively for Europe. They're not supposed to come to the United States, but, you know, I'm sure, you know, like anything, you know, there's an internet, so, you know, I'm sure if someone wanted the box, they can get it from an authorized, appointed merchant, which is what my company deals with only, exclusively, chosen appointed merchants from somewhere in Europe.
So Ora Vivo was launched as it was a brand. Is there more Ora Vivo? Could we expect to see more Ora Vivo? Will there be more involvement with Armand? Where are you going to take Ora Vivo right now?
Well, Ora Vivo is a cigar brand currently. Now, there are other things that are being explored, such as a rum, a limoncello, a vodka, and also coffee. But particularly right now, the focus is on cigars. Both for right now, the United States was the premier launch, and Europe in the next month.
And how's the cigar been going? I mean, have you been? Is it, you know, you've sold it to your appointed merchants? Are you back ordered? Are you keeping up the demand? How's it been going?
Yes, we're completely sold out. You know, at the trade show last year in July in Las Vegas, you know, it was the launch of the Ora Vivo and the Tortuga Reserva, and, you know, being very, very excited this year, also, you know, with a little bit of cautious, optimistic feeling, you know, never really telling how people are going to receive things for the first time. The show was overwhelmingly positive, and I was just so happy with the amount of business that we did with the appointed merchants. We sold out over 50% of the first shipment, and currently we're back ordered on both the Ora Vivo and the Tortuga Reserva.
So another thing, and I want to just kind of mention one more thing. So when I walked over to your booth, I was a little surprised because I saw Armand there, and then I walked back to your booth another time, and I saw Armand there again. It was on another day. And
hang on one second. Well, sorry, Phil had some background noise in there. Go ahead.
well, Armand was very visible at this trade show, which I thought was, you know, and again, I've seen the cigar celebrities come through and make an appearance, but Armand was very much spending a lot of time at this booth, and I was just blown away. And, you know, it was not to just get the autograph seekers. You could see him in that booth and how proud he was of that product.
He was very engaged. He was there all 4 days for the show. It was very important for him to be there. He actually put a film that he was working on hold to be there specifically at the show. And, you know, interestingly enough, it was on the first day, one of the merchants were there, and, you know, they had asked him for his autograph, and he was fumbling around. He didn't have a pen on him, and the person kind of chuckled a little and said, you know, you're Armand Assante. You don't have a pen to sign an autograph. And Armand said, that's not why I'm here. He said, learn about the cigar business and learn more about your store because I'm new at this on this side of the fence. You know, he's been a consumer for many, many years. Back when cigars.
Whoa.
Bad feedback, guys.
Yeah.
It sounds like Paul started the shower.
Yeah. Sorry. Phil's experiencing some technical difficulties. I think he's back on. He's muted. So sorry. Carry on, guys.
Yeah, so I was, like I said, I was blown away by that. But yeah, so you were saying about there was, I guess someone came up to him about the autograph.
Yeah, so someone on the first day had asked him for an autograph, and he was fumbling around for a pen, and they said, "You're Armand Assante. You don't have a pen to sign an autograph." And he said, "That's not why I'm here." He says, "I'm here to learn about the cigar business and learn about your store," because it was the first time he was on that side of the fence. He had been a consumer of cigars and a lover with a passion of cigars for many, many years. It was the first time that he was humbly exhibiting his own brand and his own offering. So, you know, that brought a lot of surprise from the retailer attendants.
So after the trade show, then you embarked on the launch, and then I thought it was something interesting. Armand kind of came along with the launch and did some events. What was that like in terms of, you know, a lot of times, again, when I see a non-cigar celebrity coming to a cigar event, it's got a different vibe. So what were some things you did, you know, as far as to bring Armand into an event and kind of make him feel comfortable with that?
Well, you know, it's actually kind of easy for Armand. He truly loves cigars, and it shows. If you ever get the chance to spend some time with him or come to one of the events, please do so. You know, sit with him, talk with him about cigars. He can talk about cigars all day long. So, you know, getting him out there to an event. We've done 2 events so far. We don't have a lot of events on the schedule because that's not really what the brand is about. It's not about an event-driven, overly promoted product. It's truly about a tribute to the art, culture, and tobacco tradition of the industry. So, you know, what you'll hear him say is this is his way of giving back to the industry. You know, smoking over 40 years of consuming cigars, this is his way of giving back to the industry, to be a part of the industry as well. So he actually gets up and he does a nice speech about how he smoked his first cigar and who he was with and what cigars mean to him, how cigars have helped him develop certain characters in his career, and
What does he usually smoke? Like in the, I'm always curious that like when I watch a movie and I see people smoking a cigar, I'm always wondering like what they're smoking. That's like the cigar geek in me, right? I think a lot of us kind of have that burning question.
No.
That's a great question. You know, I don't know what he usually smokes. I think you should ask him.
Yeah, that'd be great. Victor, what do you like to smoke outside of your own brands?
I like to smoke boutique cigars. You know, outside of my own brands, I like to smoke small batch, limited production cigars. That's where I find the most enjoyment.
Any particular brands stand out lately?
Yeah, actually, you know, I'm not just saying this because Phil's on the show, but I'm a big fan of Phil's cigars. You know, Phil's been in the business a long time. He's been on the roller coaster. I'm sure. You know, if he's on, Phil, please pipe up, man. You know, the roller coaster in this business is it's certainly a thrill ride, and he does a wonderful job at what he does. And you know, like me, Phil does a similar thing. You know, we pay tribute to this business. We want to keep this business alive. It's about the art and culture of the business. I sound like a broken record when I say it, but it's truly
absolutely
tribute to the tradition of this business. It's not about taking from the industry. It's not about just producing another cigar to go on a retailer's shelves. It's about giving some substance back to both retailer and consumer so they can enjoy this pleasure that they seek out daily in order to relax and reflect at the end of the day or in the middle of the day. It's if it's convenient for them. Because that's what it's truly about. It's a brotherhood. It's a culture. It's friendship. So many different bonds are made over cigars. So many different celebrations happen over cigars. It's a wonderful thing. So I smoke products that pay tribute back to the industry. So I smoke a
Sure.
Debonair. I've smoked the cigar that you're smoking, the Sin Nombre by Fuente, a very, very good product. I like some of Toro Fuente's limited production products as well. Wonderful stuff. The new Fuente Opus X was fantastic this year.
Yeah, Stogie Sin is really enjoying the Angels Share, which is a new offering from Fuente. I can just tell by looking at his face. He's speechless.
I haven't smoked it.
Oh,
I
I got a nice
smoked
little.
it.
I haven't either. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
it's a
I'm
nice
very
little-
jealous.
Yeah, nice wet spot right.
Oh,
in my
did you want one, Will? I don't know.
No, I don't want
I
one.
don't know if I can.
You know what?
I think I can spare one for you.
I like boutique. You know, when it comes to boutique for everything that I do, you know, craft beer. You know, I talk about the beer industry a lot because the cigar business is very similar to the way the beer industry is structured.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beer industry, you have nano brand, you have craft brand, you have micro brand, and then you have macro brand. And where I find myself when I want to have a beer, I'm usually drinking a nano or a craft beer and sometimes a micro beer. I very rarely drink a macro beer.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree.
It's true.
I've even been doing the same thing with Scotch too.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the Scotches that we're
I told
drinking
you,
tonight
Yep.
is what do they call it? A merchant bottling.
Yeah.
so
it's made,
someone will
it's
buy
made someone,
a certain
right.
barrels. and
35-year-old.
It's a 35-year-old.
That's my last bottle.
It's a merchant bottling by Duncan Taylor. The distillery is Glen Roth's. It was distilled in 1968, which, I mean, Stogie Santa could tell you about 1968.
Well,
He was probably
I was only 28.
30s.
Yeah.
And
I thought you guys pay ARP card then.
and it was kind of like
ARP.
it was my
yeah.
it was
Old
my
retarded dude.
it was my special purchase that I did for Christmas. So based on Stogie Santa's recommendation, and I tell you, it's pretty fabulous. And I tell you what also was fabulous was that special Lagavulin
Distillers
and
Edition.
Lagavulin Distillers Edition. And Lagavulin is not a Scotch for the faint of heart, right? I mean, that's a very smoky, peaty,
Right,
more
but-
peat. I think it's
but
more
again,
peat than
but
smoke.
again, it's
But that
it's
bottling is, and I tell you what, we lost Victor. We're trying to get him back, so we'll talk a
and
little bit.
ironically, it does decently with cigars.
And you got to get the ice balls.
Yep.
You're
I'm
a
gonna
testament
get
to
that.
that.
Oh, I'm telling
so
you.
one of my other
My
Christmas
balls
gifts.
are always iced.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you.
One of my other one of my other Christmas gifts, and I think my wife said she got it from Williamson Sonoma, and it's not the size of your fist, right?
Yeah.
But it's
but like
a
like your
3-inch, like a 3-inch
Like a toddler's
diameter
son. Yeah.
ball of
Toddler's,
ice. So it's a big ball, solid block of ice that you put in the middle of the glass.
Oh,
No,
they're
I'll tell
great.
you what.
Yeah,
see
you
this
put the
Evan-
scotch around it. So
Yeah.
what happens in this process is you get the best of both worlds.
All right.
It cools the temperature down,
but it doesn't water it out.
but it doesn't water it down. But it does put a little bit of water to open it up. So to me, I've tried ice cubes, crushed ice, putting a little bit of
Yeah.
water, mineral
Everything.
water, the whiskey stones. I've tried all that stuff. The ice ball is the best thing. It's almost contributing to a really bad habit of drinking scotch,
I'll
right?
tell you
Because
what.
it makes scotches that maybe I'm not a huge fan of. You drop this ice ball in there,
you're
and it's
done.
like a totally different drink. It's unbelievable. It's
I'll tell you. See
I
this Evan
can't.
Williams 2003 fill with the Bellicoso and that.
Mhm.
You talk about
It's good.
No, it's not good. It's
Yeah.
outstanding. It's a.
I can't talk about Scotch no more.
I
I'm
know.
not allowed
I know. It's for good reasons. God bless you, because you're a stronger man than I.
Good riddance.
Yeah, good.
Looks like
That's
we
a story
got
for
Victor
another
back.
time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Victor, are you back?
I'm back.
Excellent. Yeah, we're just we deviated into a little bit about spirits here on the show. So,
Okay.
Will, did you have other questions for Victor? I know
Yeah.
we've got wrap it up with a few more
right.
questions, and then we
Yeah,
got
top 10.
unfortunately we have to wrap it up because we're going to do our top 10 list of cigars that we liked in 2013. So.
Yeah, so Victor, just we'll give it the other line that you have is the Tortuga line, and you've launched. I'm smoking it, and I think you're smoking it too. The 215 Reserva. I'm smoking the box press. Which one are you smoking?
That's it.
I'm smoking the Cedro number 5. It's a 5.5 by 48. It's the first in the Tortuga Reserva to be round instead of box press.
Right, and that's what I thought you were smoking. And actually, I'm amazed. They both smoke. They both bring a unique quality in terms of the box press versus the rounded. Why don't you tell us a little about that line for the folks maybe who didn't hear Cigar Chat last week?
Well, the blend is the same, and what I find is most people tend to taste the difference when something is box pressed versus round. And what I can attribute that to is that a round cigar typically smokes a little bit different than a box press. So, you know, we were also talking on Cigar Federation about different tastes and the way people taste differently, and different things that are done to the palate in order to create different flavors. So what I mean by that is keep your palate as fresh as possible when you smoke a cigar. And, you know, I was having this conversation with someone in a retail shop, and they were smoking a cigar, you know, whatever it was, and they were saying something about how, you know, they didn't like the cigar. And I had asked them, you know, what they had eaten prior to smoking the cigar, and they ate a donut. And, you know, people do the strangest things when they're smoking a cigar, you know, and that's okay, you know, to each their own. I mean, people, you can do whatever you want when you smoke a cigar, but let me tell you something. In order for you to taste what you're supposed to taste, you have to keep your palate clean. It's just, there's no question. You can't have a donut and expect to taste a premium cigar. When you add sugar into your mouth, you're adding to the acidity. Your mouth is very acidic.
You had that full feeling.
and the goal is to keep your mouth alkaline. And you know, people ask me all the time, you know, what do you do to clean your palate? And people use coffee to clean their palate. They use plain water. When you go to a wine tasting, they have cheese and crackers, and they offer you crackers to clean your palate. In my opinion, salt water is the best way to clean your palate. It's the only way to get your mouth back to an alkaline state. And when you talk about the different ranges of taste in the mouth, you know, you have sweet on the tip of the tongue, you have salt on the rails, you have sour on the rails, you have bitter in the back, and then the whole experience, euphoric experience, is umami. So, you know, in order to really get that, I suggest that people smoke a cigar first thing in the morning. So what you want to do is you want to brush your teeth without toothpaste. You just want to use some water with a fresh toothbrush. Brush your teeth, drink some, you know, gargle some salt water, and smoke a cigar in the beginning of the day when your mouth is recovered. And that's when you'll get the true taste of the cigar. And the other thing that I do that I haven't heard anyone do, you know, in this business, you know, consumer-wise, I try to eliminate the other senses. When I'm working with the master blenders and I'm creating a blend of cigars, and what I do is I create my blends for me. And this is something that I haven't done in the past. I used to create blends for a category in the market, and now everything I create is based on my palate and what I like, because it's going to go with certain things that I like, and that's what I'm promoting to the industry. This is the way I give my tribute back to the industry.
Good man.
And you know, I tell people that you want to eliminate your senses, your other senses, because when you smoke a cigar, it's about taste and it's about aroma. So you want to take your eyes out of the game. You want to take your ears out of the game. If you can eliminate touch, wear a pair of gloves. Do something. Blindfold, put on noise cancellation headphones, put on a pair of gloves, and smoke a cigar, and you will have a completely different experience than you did after eating that donut and drinking that Pepsi when you said you didn't like the cigar. Now, I don't care whose brand it is, but, you know, everybody deserves a fair share, because let me tell you, people work very hard in this business to create their product. There's a lot of painstaking hours at the factory, at the farms, away from our families, traveling on airplanes, eating really terrible airplane food. I don't know anybody who's a fan of airplane food. It's absolutely awful.
No.
But, you know, and what I mean is, you know, everybody deserves a fair share. You know, I hear people really quick on the draw to say, you know, that cigar was bad, or, you know, that cigar was really good. But, you know, really, where does that come from? And what I suggest is do it on a clean palate and give it a fair assessment.
Absolutely. In fact, I do a lot of my reviews 6 in the morning. People think I'm nuts, but that's what I do.
It's true.
Oh, it's true. But great points. We're gonna wrap this
Yeah,
up. And
Victor, what do you have coming out next?
I'm always working on something, but nothing's ready until it's ready. So, I have another extension coming out for Tortuga Reserva, 2 more sizes in the Segro offering. The original 4 sizes were box pressed. This is what Coop was touching on a little bit earlier. The new sizes are more for, I call them the connoisseur sizes. They're going to be 50 ring gauges and under. The first one was a 5.5 by 48. The next one will be a 6 by 50. And I'm also working on a new Tortuga Reserva, which will hopefully be ready by the trade show. But if it's not, I won't release it.
Very good.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Victor, thank you very much for appearing on the Stogie
We
Geek
really
Show.
appreciate it.
Yep,
Yes.
thank you.
We are going to take a short break, come back, and we're going to reveal. Now, Will, are you going to reveal all of your top 10 list from 2013?
We'll just do the top 10,
Yes,
but
we're
going to do round robin, and then we could just do what the final composite one was.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. With that, we'll be right back.
Thank you, Victor.
Take care. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Have a good night, Victor. God bless you and your family.
Same to you, Phil.
Yeah.